There's so many benefits to lifting weights. And then one huge benefit that I find that isn't talked about as much is the empowerment that comes, especially for women, when you start to feel strong lifting weights. When you truly, and this goes for all ways of exercise. It really does. Exercise is such a tool to empowerment and other places in your life. But I find there's something about feeling confident and independent in lifting a weight and then being able to lift things independently in your life without asking for help. That's really empowering. It really, really is. I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist, women's health expert, and Pilates teacher, and my goal is to help all women feel strong, safe, and secure in their bodies. In this podcast, I'll share expert advice, facts, amazing guests, stories, compassion, and hope to help you meet your body in all seasons of life. Hi, welcome back to Meet Your Body. I am so excited for today's subject. And I think I actually start every single podcast episode with you guys with that sentence. Maybe I need to find some new words, but it's true. I don't talk about things that I am not excited about or passionate about in some way, shape, or form, or that I don't like to have a conversation around. So those are the topics that you're going to get, things that matter to me because, and hopefully they matter to you as well, and that they apply directly to your life in one season of life or another, because we go through different seasons. And that's what's great is you can pick and choose the podcast episode that is right for you in that season of life. And you will most likely hear me say, welcome to Meet Your Body. I'm so excited about today's topic. So today we are talking about how to get started with lifting weights. And I have many resources, including podcasts and YouTube videos, and even workout plans that you can purchase and do at home. I have so many programs catering to the beginner in fitness and movement. That is truly one of my passions. I love working with beginners. I feel like in our quick hit social media society, want results right away, that beginners tend to be left behind and left out of the conversation many times, either completely left out or more oftentimes not catered to correctly. I talk to so many people and work with so many people who are beginners or who are interested in, let's say, starting Pilates. It's a big example. I want to start Pilates, and they have done so many other beginner workouts or things that are labeled as beginners, and they felt left out. They felt behind. It was too fast. It wasn't a true beginner class, and it made them feel ashamed and discouraged, and they didn't go back. And that is really where my passion lies, is working with people to let them know, hey, there is a nuance and a system and a supported way to work as a beginner to really empower you and encourage you so you want to move forward. And many times, if you do feel discouraged or ashamed when you leave after you try to start, it's not you, all right? It is not you. It is the system or possibly the messaging, the expectations that were set, the instructor, so many different pieces that fall into that. So I really love working with beginners in that way. I want to empower you in being a beginner and help you feel encouraged moving forward to make the choices that are right for you. So I have so many systems and kind of podcasts around that. But today we are talking specifically about what that looks like if you want to lift weights. And this directly comes from so many questions I get specifically on social media and on YouTube. So I'll put little posts about how I'm lifting weights or the benefits of lifting weights. And I inevitably get questions about how do I start? How do I start? Where do I start? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk in very specific terms about how you can and should get started with lifting weights. And this is going to apply to a few different groups of people. It will apply if you are truly a beginner, right? So if you have not lifted weights before in any specific capacity, if you have only done it a handful of times in your life or here and there, and you have learned the benefits and you want to get started, this is a great place to be. It also might apply if you have had an injury or you're coming back from an injury or coming back from a surgery and you feel like, gosh, yeah, that was a part of my life before, but I don't know how to get back into it now, this can apply to that as well. And then also, maybe you have been lifting weights, but you feel like you haven't quite seen results, or you're just not sure if you're doing it in a calculated, purposeful way. You're not sure if it's efficient, and you just want to learn if there's a way that you can kind of, unravel what you've been doing and come back at it from another place. This will apply. So this will apply to hopefully anyone listening to help you get started lifting weights. And why? Why are we talking about this in addition to the importance of supporting yourself as a beginner? I want you to feel supported in lifting weights because it is absolutely vital to our health and especially to our bodies as we age. It is vital to be lifting weights. There really is no way around it. Like, there are no ifs, ands, or buts. We know this from research. We need to be lifting weights. And then also just from a place of functionality and knowing what we need to do in life to be functional, to stay independent, it makes sense that we need to be lifting weights. So let's talk specifically about the benefits of lifting weights. And before I get into that, I want to clarify what I mean by weightlifting because there is this term resistance training out in the world. It's a real term. You've probably heard it, resistance training. And so I get asked a lot, we'll be told, okay, you need to do resistance training 3 times a week. So people will ask, well, can I use bands instead of dumbbells? Does that mean resistance bands? Does body weight count? Can I use loops? All of those kind of things. So let's clarify how all of that fits together in a category. So yes, those are all forms of resistance training. Anytime you add resistance to what you're doing, it's resistance training. So you really could think about just about any type of movement as resistance training because if nothing else, you are using your body weight or moving against gravity. So the springs on a reformer in Pilates, resistance training. Resistance bands, that's resistance training. Your loops, kettlebells, weighted balls, all of those things and body weight are resistance training when used in that capacity. And they all have benefits, all right, in different ways. They work our muscles, they work our joints, our tendons, our tendon receptors, balance, proprioception, our ability to react to outside forces. They all come into play, but they are not all the same. Okay, so using resistance bands is not going to give you the long-term health, bone strength, muscle mass benefits you need. Using resistance bands will not give you that same benefit as lifting weights. So I'm truly today talking about lifting weights. Like, that is what I'm talking about. Dumbbells, barbells, machines at the gym. Those are kind of the 3 categories of lifting weights. That is what I'm talking about. And again, hear me when I say, yes, the other things have benefit. If you love doing them, don't stop. And I use, especially bands, I use them quite a bit in physical therapy. That's how we start to build strength to be able to lift weights. All right. So there is benefit to all of it. There's benefit to body weight. Things like traveling in places where you won't have access to dumbbells and weights. Body weight is really beneficial. When we're coming back from an injury, like after each of my surgeries, and I've had many, after all of them, I start with body weight movements on the mat. I move to some resistance bands, eventually getting myself back to my dumbbell practice and my real life movement. So again, yes, there's benefits, but that's not what we're talking about today. So when I tell you that you need to be lifting weights 3 times a week, that is what I mean. I mean lifting weights. I don't mean doing bands instead. And I don't mean doing loops or doing body weight instead. I mean lifting weights. So I want to clarify that. That is what we're talking about today. Lifting weights. And that could be dumbbells. All right. So that's the ones you hold in your hands. You have 2 separate ones, 1 in each hand. So dumbbells. Could be a barbell. So that's one long bar with the weight plates on either end. And it can be machines at the gym as well. They all have benefits. To me, when we're talking about which we're going to do, It depends on what is most accessible to you. I just want you lifting weights. So if dumbbells is most accessible to you and doing it at home, use that. If you like to use a barbell, you can incorporate that. Kettlebells will come into this as well. A little less common, and I don't think they're necessary. But again, if you love it, that will be included here. And then machines at the gym count as well. Okay. So those are the categories of things. And I will have the links below to the barbells and the dumbbells that I use at home, because that is mostly what I do. Is I tell people how to do all of this at home, because I want it accessible to you. I want you to be able to do it in your daily life. And that is really important, to have that empowerment that you know how to do that. If you are more accountable at the gym, if you like to go to the gym, again, by all means, do that. But I don't want anyone to feel like you have to, all right? You don't have to have a gym membership to get the benefits of lifting weights at home. You can do all of this at home, and I will have links to dumbbells and barbells below. So let's talk about the benefits, because there are many. And again, this is evidence-based. This is research. This is data. This is really not in question. These are the benefits of a regular weightlifting practice. Bone health and osteoporosis prevention. The number one way to keep your bones strong and help prevent osteoporosis is lifting weights. And then you add a little impact to it, like from possible jogging or a little bit of hopping. There's lots of different ways to add some of that impact, that plyometric. Those two things combined, the best way to prevent osteoporosis. When you ask me about weighted vests, which I know are really popular right now, there's actually, in this moment, in 2025, we don't have any research studies that show that weighted vests help with osteoporosis. They might help with cardiovascular strength and some endurance and calorie burn. They are not helping right now. Again, research doesn't show us that they help with osteoporosis. You have to be lifting weights. So bone health, osteoporosis prevention. Muscle mass. Lifting weights builds your muscle mass. We start to lose muscle mass very quickly once we reach the perimenopausal and postmenopausal ages in transition. We lose muscle mass quickly, so we need to be lifting weights, preferably before that transition even happens. But if not that, then definitely after, to help build that muscle mass that we're losing back up. Helps with posture, with balance, with injury prevention. It helps with core work. Believe it or not, as a PT, I will tell you, I give people exercises with dumbbells before I give them crunches when it comes to working your core in a functional, important way. And one of the beauties of that is that you can do it even if it bothers your neck to do crunches. If you have something like I do, like I have multiple abdominal surgeries, a hysterectomy in my past, abdominal work can sometimes feel really challenging. I can get my core work through lifting weights. So you actually can get some really, really great work for your core by lifting weights in certain ways. It is functional. We are lifting things all day long. A typical grocery bag weighs 10 pounds. And I know many of you listening insist on carrying multiple bags at once. You only have to do one trip from the car. You're probably carrying 20 to 30 pounds when you do that. So if you are not training throughout the week to do that kind of lifting, then you are asking for an injury at some point. Your functional life includes lifting weights. It just does. You're carrying mulch, or you're carrying car seats, or you're lifting babies or kids, or you are lifting things in and out of the car. You are moving furniture. I know what you're doing. I know. And so you got to lift weights to train that. It helps with mood and memory. There are so many benefits to your brain health itself. So both from a mood and anxiety place, but also from true brain health itself. There's so many benefits to lifting weights. And then one huge benefit that I find that isn't talked about as much is the empowerment that comes, especially for women, when you start to feel strong lifting weights. When you truly, and this goes for all ways of exercise. It really does. Exercise is such a tool to empowerment and other places in your life. But I find there's something about feeling confident and independent in lifting a weight, and then being able to lift things independently in your life without asking for help. That's really empowering. It really, really is. So those are the benefits to lifting weights. So let's jump in and talk about how you do it. Like, I know that's what you've been waiting for. We are going to talk exactly about how to do it. First off, there's not a true right or wrong. I like to throw that out there because there's so much noise in the world around how to work out, when to work out, what time of day do I need to eat first? Do I need to eat after? Like, I know there's so much noise and it is overwhelming and it's easy to feel like you're doing it wrong. So I'm the first one here to tell you there's no true right or wrong. I'm saying that in air quotes. I'm not going to tell anyone who comes to me who says, I lifted weights for 10 minutes yesterday. Like, that's all I had, but I got out my dumbbells and I moved my arms. I'm never going to tell that person they did it wrong. Like, you are moving. That's awesome. Okay. Absolutely awesome. So don't think of this as right or wrong. Instead, think of it that if you are not following kind of a specific plan, then you're just not going to get the full benefits of lifting weights. So a few things that'll happen if, again, you're not following kind of a specific plan moving forward. Like I said, it just might not have the benefits. And we're going to talk about that. But if you are using 2-pound weights, I'm just here to tell you, if all you're doing is lifting 2 or 3-pound weights a couple times a week and you're not fatigued afterwards, it's just not doing anything for you. Yes, you're moving your body. Awesome. And you're breathing. Like, that is all great. But when it comes to building muscle mass and helping your bone health, it's not going to have the benefits you want it to have. You could actually get injured if you don't have kind of, again, a specific plan. And sometimes that'll happen for people who are going too hard, too fast. I mean, you're jumping into all of it and you're just constantly working the same muscle groups. You could definitely lead to burnout or injury. You can lead to boredom. So that's actually one. If you don't have kind of a plan that you're following, you could just get really bored. And when you're really bored, you stop doing it. That's just the nature. It's the nature of what we do. You'll stop. You won't see the results. And that happens a lot too. If people who say, I just never saw anything from it, or I didn't gain strength, I didn't see results. And then another one is that it's not efficient, meaning it's just not a good use of your time. I mean, I would rather you take 15 minutes to do something that's really going to have results than to take 25 minutes doing something that's not going to have results. And again, like I said, hear me when I say that all movement is good movement and it all has benefits. But we're talking today about building muscle mass, protecting your bones, and having a really specific plan for lifting weights. So if you're going to plan to do that, if you're going to incorporate it, I want it to be worth your time. I want you to get a big bang for your buck, right? You have other things going on in your life. So let's make that happen. All right. So here are the things you need to know and you need to plan for. You need to lift weights 3 times a week for 20 minutes. That's your minimum. 3 times a week, 20 minutes each time, to really help bones, muscles, and to see results in those areas and the other areas as well. 3 times a week for 20 minutes. Of course, you can add more to that as you build a foundation. But if you do not have any background in this, if this is new to you, if you don't already have a really kind of robust movement plan in place, like meaning a habit that you are already moving, let's say 30 minutes every day a week. If you don't already have that in place, don't suddenly ask yourself to lift weights or do that program 4 times a week for an hour. That's just asking for failure for all of us. That's not how we work as humans. We have to build up the habits of movement before we can add all that crazy, bigger, programming stuff to it. So 3 times a week for 20 minutes minimum. That's awesome. That is awesome right there. And if that's what you have time for the rest of your life, great. Make that your plan. Also, hear me when I say, if you are thinking already, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do that. Okay, then you start with 2 times a week. That is what you're going to do. You start with 2 times a week for 20 minutes. And then in a month, when that is habit, you will have the capacity to add 1 more day. I do not believe in all or nothing mentality, and it holds us all back. If I can't do all of it, I might as well not do any. That holds us back time and time and time again. If you cannot, I'm just here to tell you that 3 times a week for 20 minutes minimum is the general recommendation and is going to lead you to results to help your body. But that doesn't mean it's all or nothing, right? It means maybe you start with 2 times a week. But hear me when I say consistency is the key. So doing just 1 time a week here and there is not going to do it. It just isn't. So make a plan. Start with the time you have. Start with what you can and you have the capacity for, but build up over time. And if that 3 times a week for 20 minutes a day feels really not doable, but you say, well, I have this 10-minute break though every day. Give me 5 days a week for 10 minutes a day. I'd actually rather have that. I would rather have from someone 5 days a week for 10 minutes a day lifting weights than like 1 time a week for 30 minutes. Those 5 days are going to give you more benefits. So think of it that way. Or maybe you even say, okay, 3 times a week for 20. I can do 2 times a week for 20, and that third day can be 10. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Give me what you can, but build up to that 3 days a week for 20 minutes a day. That is your goal. That's what's going to give you results. Also, the next key, I'm giving you a few steps. All right. So 1 is that 3 days a week, 20 minutes minimum. Write it down, put it in your calendar. And if it's truly, truly not doable for you, can you give me 10 minutes on one of those days instead? What can you do to at least get it in consistently throughout the week? The next thing is, especially if you're just starting or even just coming back from injury, do not worry about what we call splits. Do not worry about, oh, how many leg days a week do I do? How many arm days a week I do? Do not worry about that. I just want you lifting weights. All right. So long term, it would be great. I mean, if you wanted me to give you a split to do, you could do 1 leg day a week, 1 arm day a week, and 1 combo day a week, right? Where it's arms and legs together. Another split that some people like to do is alternate leg, arm, and you would just keep going, right? It would carry over to the next week, but you can alternate like that. I truly am not let me clarify. I am 0% worried about that for people who are beginners. I just want you getting in and lifting the dumbbells, and I want kind of a balanced arm and leg at the end of the week. I actually, many times, if it's beginners or if it's someone coming back from an injury, a lot of times I will do combination days or combination workouts because I want to make sure that we are not doing too much for one isolated muscle group, because that is going to lead to more soreness. And I find, especially again, if it's an injury situation or if you have autoimmune issues and you have an energy conservation kind of plan that you need to follow, if you really burn out or really focus on only one isolated muscle group, that can lead to more soreness. And as someone with hypermobility and as someone with endometriosis, and again, coming back from numerous surgeries, that's what I find for myself, that when I am coming back, I'm going to do more combination days so that I am kind of dividing all of that work between muscle groups. Because what it does, it helps me avoid that energy burnout and that extra soreness that I am prone to. Versus now, so I'm a 1.5 years post mastectomy and 6 months post revision surgery I had. And I am now in a place where I feel really strong. I mean, knock on wood, I feel really good and strong because of the work I've done for years leading up to it. And I feel mostly recovered from surgery. So now it looks like 1 heavy leg day a week, 1 heavy arm day a week. And then that third day is a combination day where I'm doing combination movements and adding some abs in and doing a little more of a different kind of set to change up things. But on those heavy arm and leg days, I'm doing the same movements many times over and over again. That's how we build, same movements over and over again. And I'm going to talk about that. But that's what it looks like for me now. But keep in mind, do not get hung up or deep in the weeds of what we call splits, leg day, arm day, combination day. Mostly it's just spread out the days. If you can, take a day off in between. Don't do your 3 days in a row. So take a day off, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, however it works for you. take a day off in between, and either kind of do combination days or possibly break it up, one leg, one arm, or you can think of it as one lower body, one upper body, and then one combination day. Okay. But I do think what I give to people a lot who are just starting out or who find they're just having a hard time with consistency, I give them a combination workout, meaning arms and legs, so full body. When I say combination, I'm saying full body workout. I have a 20-minute basic full body dumbbell workout, and I give that to them and say, do it 3 times a week. I don't want you to worry about anything else. You're doing this 3 times a week. And I'll have the link for that specific workout below, by the way. So again, if you're just getting started, if there's so much benefit to repetition, to doing the same workout over and over again for a while to get your body used to it. And I'll have a link below to a 20-minute full body dumbbell workout that you can use in that way and get the benefits. All right. So my next tip is start with the weights you have available, but then you have to go up after that. All right. We are going to talk about how to choose weights and how to eventually go up in weights. And this is a big topic. I could have a whole podcast just about this, but I want you to have an open mind. All right. I want you to have a big open mind. There's nothing wrong with 1, 2, and 3 pound weights. We use them in physical therapy. I use them a lot to retrain movement, meaning I have someone come in. I'm just going to give a shoulder injury as an example. I have someone come in. First thing I'm doing is reteaching that shoulder how to move without pain against gravity. So not holding anything, just against gravity. The next thing I'm doing is I'm adding a resistance band or a TheraBand to do to that, maybe a reformer depending. Then somewhere along that place, I'm going to add maybe a 1 or a 2 pound weight, right? It's like that little bit of progression versus moving it against gravity. So I'm working with 1 or 2 pounds, then I'm working with bands. Then after that, I'm working with body weight. So I'm moving them to a plank. If it's a shoulder injury, I'm doing a plank next. Can you hold yourself up or just even on all fours? Then I'm going to move to 5 pounds. And what I want you to hear is that as a PT, that means I'm done with the rehab process. Okay. To me, that means now you're ready to go out and build from there. 5 pounds is not the end of the goal. It's not the end of the process. It is just the end of the rehab. It's like the end of phase 1 so that you're then ready to go lift the heavier weights. Being able to lift 5 pounds is great. It is awesome. And also, it does not translate to osteoporosis prevention. It does not translate to bone health. It does not translate to building muscle mass, and it does not translate into function. Like I told you, a grocery bag weighs 10 pounds. So being able to lift 5 pounds, that is irresponsible of me to tell you that you are done with your strength training at 5 pounds when I know you're out in real life lifting grocery bags, helping your elderly parents or your partner or spouse get in and out of wheelchairs, get in and out of bed, lifting car seats. I know what you're doing. I know it. And my job is to help support that. And I am telling you that 5 pounds doesn't do it. Okay. So that is kind of the mind frame I want you to have around it. If, again, you are brand new to this and you're saying, oh my gosh, my 2 pounds are heavy. Okay. Then awesome. Then you need to finish that phase 1 first, right? Phase 1 is getting you to 5 pounds. And by 5 pounds, I mean that you can squat holding 5 pound weights, that you can maybe do a lunge or a step up holding 5 pound weights, that you can do a bicep curl doing 5 pound weights, and that you can do an overhead press or a shoulder press using 5 pound weights. Like those are kind of, to me, the basic moves I'm looking for that are most functional. So when you get to being able to do that with 5 pounds, like the workout I give you below, that means you're done with phase 1. And then you get to move to phase 2. So you're moving on to 8 pounds. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, shift your mind around it. And yes, there are some fitness classes out there that are telling you to use 2 and 3 pound weights and that that's all you need to tone and strengthen your arms. I'm just telling you scientifically, it is just not true. It's just not. And yeah, I use them when I teach bar. Sure. I just use them as an added little extra, like we're working proprioception on the joint. We're adding some arm movement to our leg movements. I am not at all marketing that class as a bone health class, as a muscle mass class. It has other benefits. But what we're talking about today, you're lifting weights. It's got to be more than 3. It's got to be more than 5. That doesn't mean you have to push yourself to 15. I want you to do it incrementally. So this is what it'll look like. See what you have at home. You do not have to go buy anything extra right now. See what you have at home. Go through the workout I have in the link below and do it for 2 weeks and see how those weights feel. When you can do a move, the whole set. So in that workout I'm going to give you, I'm basically doing 3 sets, like 8 repetitions per set. When you can do that easily, meaning you can think about your to-do list the same, you don't have to think about what you're doing, you're not fighting for that last rep. When you can do all of that, you have to go up in weights. That's when it's time. So you go to the next phase. So if you're using 5 pounds, the next phase is going to be 8 pounds. If you're using 8 pounds, the next phase is 10. If you're using 10, the next phase is 12. You go up incrementally. And that's called progressive overload. And that is the number one key to building muscle mass and helping your bones, is what we call progressive overload. That means that over time, you are adding weight to the reps you are already doing. It doesn't mean you're doing crazy new moves necessarily. It doesn't mean you're changing your workout completely. It doesn't mean you're doing more repetitions. It means you are adding weight. That's what progressive overload is, adding weight. And so that's what I want. So start with what you have. Take stock in the next 2 weeks. If it is easy, meaning you can do 8 repetitions without breaking a sweat, without even thinking about it, then that's too easy. You need to go up. Now, a couple tips around that. You do not have to go up for every single exercise in the whole workout. You do it incrementally with that too. Maybe you do 2 sets of bicep curls with the new weight and you do your last set with the previous weight. Maybe you do 5 reps and 3 reps. You get to decide. But again, it's not all or nothing. Okay? You are allowed to do half and half, but that's how you build. That's how you build up, is by a little bit at a time. So eventually you might have 4 sets of dumbbells next to you. That's what I usually do. I usually have 4 to 5, even 5 sets of dumbbells near me for my workouts. And I switch it up. When I'm doing squats, I can typically start with 40 or 50 pounds of squats. And then as my legs get tired, maybe I go down. Or maybe I'm doing a combination move. So I'm adding arms, which means I have to lighten the weight slightly. I am constantly adjusting for what my body needs in that moment. But what you want is at those last 2 reps, yes, I want you to be able to maintain form, okay? If it's painful or you can't maintain form, then it might be too heavy. But you need to be pretty much hoping that it's over soon. Like the last 2 reps, you need to be glad that it's almost over. You should be breaking a sweat, breathing heavy. Like it needs to be challenging for it to be effective. All right. And then let's talk real quick about reps and sets. I am not married to any idea of reps and sets. And if you've taken classes with me, you know that. Sometimes we're doing a ton, sometimes we're doing fewer. It depends on my purpose for that move. But when I am lifting weights, I am typically doing 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions. So that means, let's say I'm doing a leg press or a squat. I am doing 3 sets, meaning I do 1 set, rest, another set, rest, another set, rest. That's 3 sets. And then I'm doing 6 to 8 repetitions of each. Typically how it works for me is I can do around 6 to 8 of the first set. And then generally, because I'm going heavier, I am at like 6 reps for the next 2 sets because I'm getting fatigued. That's generally how it works for me personally. And again, there's different benefits for going 3 sets of 10, maybe 3 sets of 6. I mean, you can look at different things that work, but in a basic world where we're just getting started, think 3 sets of 8. If you cannot do 3 sets of 4, It maybe is a little bit too heavy. If you can do 3 sets of 10, again, without even thinking about it, go heavier. You need to go a little bit heavier. Period. If you want to see benefits. And I'm just here to tell you that I want you to see benefits. I want you to get something out of what you're doing. And that's how you do it. So those are the ways that you can start lifting weights. All right, so let's summarize. You're going to use the weights you have at home. And if you don't have any weights at home, then go out, and again, I'll have a link below. There's a set that goes from 5 to 25 that I really like. I know 25, you might be thinking, oh, I'll never do that. You might surprise yourself. But I recommend having a couple sets. So like a light to medium set and then a medium to heavy set. Many times that would look like 5 pounds and 8 pounds if you are really just getting started, but not dealing with injuries right now, right? So if you're beginning that phase 2, you're done with physical therapy. Hopefully they've gotten you to a place you can move your joints without pain. You can start lifting weights. If you're at that place, that phase 2 place, a set of 5 pounds and a set of 8 pounds is what I really like. If you've been doing this a while and you feel like you're a little bit past that, get a set of 8 and a set of 10. If you are brand new and you're like, gosh, I'm still kind of in rehab, get a set of 3 and a set of 5. All right. So in there, that's what I want you to have available to you at home. So have your equipment, have your space to move, plan on 3 days a week. And just, if nothing else, do the workout I'm going to link for you below. Okay. And that talks you through the set. It's doing it in real time. You're just following me. So you'll learn kind of the verbiage around it. You'll learn how to move safely. You'll be supported. You'll have rest. It'll tell you exactly how many sets. You just work out with me in real time in that workout. All right. You're just moving along with me on the video. So you'll learn a lot just by doing it. And do that for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or even 8 weeks, maybe longer if you like it. And you just slowly add weight to it. And then let's say 3 months pass and you're at a really comfortable place that this is part of your habit. You're excited to do more. Then you can go either in my unlimited community. We have over 100 workouts using dumbbells, and some are legs, some are arms. They're beginner, they're advanced. They're all ones you can do at home, and you can just slide those workouts into what you're already doing as a habit. And then I also offer monthly workout plans and daily workouts, and we include dumbbells there. So you can come over to Unlimited, or you can always go to YouTube and just slide different, shorter length workouts in as well. And if you're a gym goer, you can use that as some of your weightlifting days also. And I encourage you to get started. That's it. I encourage you to get started. I just cannot say enough. I will always talk about the benefits of lifting weights, not just physically, but the mental benefits of it. And I will also always support you as being a beginner in it. And remember, sometimes we have to be a beginner over and over and over again. I do. Every time life throws a curveball, I go back to my basics. Whether it's a physical curveball or a mental curveball or life changes, I go back to the basics. So feel free and accept that there will be times that you're starting over. And also everything you've done in the past serves you moving forward. So every single workout you do is a deposit into your health bank account to help you moving forward. So I'll have those links for you below. And thanks so much for being here today. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening today. I would love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot to us and it helps our content get out to more women who need it. You can find more of my resources at my website, jessicavalant.com, or find me on YouTube at Jessica Valant and Instagram at Jessica S. Valant.